also recognize that just because we build it doesn't necessarily mean it will come. And this slide says that we've uniquely paired it with a public engagement and public education strategy. It's actually not that unique. A lot of other places do this kind of thing, but it really is unique for us as transportation engineers. We tend to really focus on infrastructure, and what we're looking at is successes in other areas where changes have been made over time. So if we look at our colleagues in waste management, particularly the recycle program, they have come a long way in changing the way things are done, but it's taken a lot of time, and it's taken continuous education and public awareness. So if you think about our recycling program, I would say that it's well embedded into the average Edmontonian's lifestyle, which is not necessarily the same in other Canadian cities. So there's been a lot of progress over time. And so we're looking to that example and trying to do the same kind of thing when it comes to the idea of how do we move and transportation. So we have hired some social marketers. We as engineers really don't have that expertise, but our social marketers have some great ideas. And it's a slow process, and it does take time. These icons here, those are magnets that they are working on this summer. They're going out to various venues and encouraging people to pledge 1 day a week, leave your car at home. And another thing that we're hoping to work on next year is to start a school curriculum program. The recycling program is in school curriculum in elementary school. Every kid across the city takes part in this program, so it becomes part of their lifestyle. And if we do the same kind of thing in talking about transportation choices, then we're hoping that over time will develop into a cultural change. A direction is to manage our transportation system more effectively. So this builds on the idea that we're not going to be able to build our way out of congestion. So we are then trying to look at how can we more effectively use our transportation system using ITS, Transportation Systems Management, or TDM. One leading edge initiative that we're working on is on Yellowhead Trail. Yellowhead Trail is our key goods movement corridor in the city, the most well-used goods movement or truck corridor. It's part of the Trans-Canada highway, but it does have a lot of accurate signals, and there tends to be incidents there regularly. So what we're looking at doing is taking some of the ITS infrastructure, so there's cameras and monitors and information signs, and pairing that with a microsimulation model, VISM model, so that we can predict how to accommodate traffic disruption by providing a route diversion, then using the VISM model, microsimulation, to make real-time signal adjustments. So the traffic signals get adjusted based on the VISM model. We haven't got this completely underway, but there's a lot of interest in it, not even just locally, but outside of the community. And we're hoping to move forward as funding becomes available over the next year. Recognizing that we will be building roads, to some extent, those roadway improvements are focused on goods movement corridors or for transit priority. So we're looking at focusing our construction, major construction on inner ring road and highway connectors. A really key direction is to look after what we've got, to have a well-maintained and managed infrastructure. And some years ago, in the 90s and early 2000s, we tended not to put a lot of dollars into our rehabilitation. We were growing and looking at rapidly expanding our infrastructure, so it was the thought was, well, we'll leave it another year, And it's been recognized recently that we really do need to put a lot of energy into our rehabilitation. It just doesn't work. Even in terms of other aspects that transportation, when you think about quality of life and how our system is maintained, it becomes really important. The way we are developing and how we determine our renewal requirements is based on our programs that I think there was a presentation on Wednesday on that by Conrad Sue. a RIMS development, risk-based infrastructure management system. What this is a model that looks at various asset classes based on risk and their condition, and looks at our reinvestment requirements. So the city has been putting more money recently into rehabilitation. In fact, it's about half of our budget that goes into rehabilitation. One of the risk classes that you don't mess with is bridges, and so they no bridges are allowed to fall into the very poor category. We have an example here, picturing, this is not yet constructed, of our Walterdale Bridge, which requires replacement by 2014. I think this is an example that shows how we're not just focused on transportation, but across the wider spectrum of how we're trying to achieve the vision. As council, instead of just providing your basic transportation structure, which would cost, I don't know, 90 to 95 million, they voted in favor of a more expensive option, which is an iconic structure, because it recognizes that a transportation facility is a lot more than just moving vehicles. It has a lot more to do with the other aspects of achieving our city vision, our city image. Neighborhood renewal. Again, council is recognizing the need for renewal and has voted in favor of a 1.5% tax levy. So that's an increase each year in taxes by 1.5% that goes directly into neighborhood renewal. This proactive approach, it uses a combination of property taxes, provincial funding, and cost sharing with property owners. It's been quite positively received by the public. The public can see on your tax bill, you see 1.5% for neighborhood renewal. There's a recognition by most of the public that there's a desire to have the neighborhoods improved, and so it's generally been received quite positively. And with that, we'll be able to renew our neighborhoods within 30 years. And lastly, not something that gets a lot of press, but enabling roadway